everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. Before we get started, be sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. It is completely free to subscribe and I would love to have you as part of my crafty family. Now this is a video I'm really excited about because I think this is a super fun comparison. We are going to compare DTF prints, which stand for direct to film, to HTV, which stands for heat transfer vinyl. These are two different ways to do fabric designs. So I wanted to go over the differences, which we're going to include in this video, time and cost for each of the products. Now I want you to guess down below which one is going to cost more and which one will take more time. This is such a fun process and I got all of our materials for this from 143 Vinyl. I'll link everything down below, that way you can easily find all the products. And don't forget, anytime you order with them, to use code Corinne, because that's going to save you 5% when you order. Now let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be ordering from 143 Vinyl. So to order a DTF, which is for fabrics, click right here where it says DTF Direct to Film Transfers, and we are going to be using the layout designer for this. All we need to do is to upload our image. So I'm going to click this little plus button here and I just choose image, and from here I find the folder that I have my design saved in, and I have it in my DTF, and then I'm going to use baby animals, and I want to use the SVG, and I think it's number 4. And this is the design that we want to use, this little lion. Now I'm going to do him in about a 4x4 size, which is pretty good to use when it comes to a onesie. So what I want to do is choose this one that says PS, and that stands for pocket size, but pocket size is great for a onesie. Now what I'm going to do is expand the size of my lion. I'm going to use the corners to pull out the size versus changing the size on the layers panel, because I don't know exactly what size he's going to be because he does have some space around him. So I'm just kind of pulling him out to fill as much of the area of our design space here that we have, so this little layout. Once I'm happy with that, I'm good with the sizing. I want to change my project name, so I'm just going to call him Lion DTF Test, because we're going to be testing him against HTV. Then all I need to do is click Save Project, and it'll take a second and save your image. And then all we have to do is add to cart. Now I actually want 2 of him, just so that if I mess one up, I have an extra, but you can order just one if you want to. But I'm gonna order 2, and they are $2 a piece. So I'm gonna click Add to Cart, and we're good to go. We can go to View Cart, and you'll see here that for 2 of my designs, it is $4, making each one just $2 a piece. So we'll go ahead and get these ordered, and then I'm gonna show you all the HTV that we'll need to order for this as well. Now I also want to go over, if we were going to make this with HTV, we're going to need several colors of the HTV to create our lion. So I want to go over the cost of all that HTV for you in case that you didn't already own it. And we're going to go with the smallest size available, which is 12x12. And we're using my favorite Starcraft Softflex. So to make our lion, we need 5 colors. We're going to need black, white, a pink, an orange, and like a tan. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the white. I'm going to add black, and you can see they're $3 a sheet. So we're already way more expensive than the DTF to begin with. And then we just need to choose the colors that we're going to use for our lion when it comes to like the tan and the orange. So I think for his tan part, I want to use buttercream. And then for the mane, which will be kind of orangey, I think I want to use, this is always so hard to choose. I think let's go with pastel orange. I think that one will be just fine for this project. So if I pull up my cart right now, you're going to see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 colors of the HTV. We still need 1 more because we need to pick out a pink to use for his little ears and his nose and stuff. And I think let's go with bubblegum for that. So you're looking at 5 sheets of HTV at $3 a piece. So it's $15 in HTV right away. Now HTV is really fun. I'm not going to lie. It's a fun one to play with, but it can be costly when you just need 1 image and you don't already own all the HTV to create that. Now I'm going to go ahead and send off my order. Once we get it in, we're going to go ahead and make our designs. Over in Design Space, let's go ahead and work on our SVG for our little lion. I'm going to click upload and I'm going to choose upload image, and then I just want to drag and drop the image that we're going to use for our lion. Remember, he was lion number 4 here. He was image 4. So I'm just going to drag and drop the SVG over into my Design Space. Now already I see an issue with where the eyes are placed. We may have to fix that. Clearly this SVG was not made very well. But that's okay, it's an easy fix, so we'll go ahead and upload this image. Now keep in mind, we didn't have to do that at all with our DTF. So I'm gonna go ahead and select this and add this to the canvas. And in here, we're gonna be able to see sizing and all of that and how we're gonna need to arrange our design. So first off, I'm gonna make it a bit smaller just so we can get to those little eyeballs down there. And the next thing I need to do is I need to ungroup the image so that I can see how they have this set up. So you can see here we have a lot of pieces, so many pieces. It's just a ton. So the first thing I'm going to do is ungroup by selecting this and clicking on these 2 squares. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab the cheek pieces and what I can tell are the ear pieces. And I'm going to combine those and weld them just so that's like one less layer that I have to look at. I want to grab those and I want to move them off to the side for now. The next thing I want to do is I want to take a look at his main piece here and his tail piece. Those are also going to be the same color. So I want to combine and weld. That's again going to give us this design. Now we're going to be doing some slicing because of the way this is set up. It's not the way that we would layer. It's not correct. So we're going to go ahead and fix this for us. But that's another thing. This is going to take us a while to correct this. So let's move this out of the way. Now our next layers, I'm going to go ahead and get these white ones because those are just the eyeballs. And I'm going to go ahead and combine and weld. Then we can go ahead and move those off to the side. Those are really hard to grab, so I may just use my mouse here or my keyboard to slide those off, which is totally normal, totally fine. Now you can see here that we have the black eyeballs down at the bottom. I'm going to move those into frame here onto our lion because obviously they were not correct. And we need to grab these white ones again because we do kind of need those to move our black pieces into place. I didn't think about that when I moved the white pieces. Now here's what's kind of frustrating with this is we can't really move the black eyeballs without the white, with like the white pieces in the way. Design Space is awful for that, but it is what it is. All right, that's not perfect, but we can kind of play with it and move it around to get it a little more where we want it. And we just have to kind of, what's frustrating about it is grab the whites, move them, move the eyeballs, grab the whites again. So what I want to be able to do is to slice the black out of this tan. But if these are not lining up, which they're not, I'm just going to delete them and add them back in a minute because this is super frustrating. And I'm just going to kind of put the eyes where I think they should go. I think that looks pretty even, pretty centered. I think that's fine. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab the mouth, the 2 eyes, and I'm going to go to combine and I'm going to weld them. Then what I want to do is select that and select this part of the face and I want to slice. The reason we're slicing is because we want to be able to layer everything on top of the black layer and not have to layer all these extra pieces on top because what a pain. Now you can see that I have this cut out and then I have these sections. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And then I've got this head section, which I don't know why that exists. We don't need it. And then we have the tan part, which we no longer need. So once I've deleted all that, you can see it goes back to looking exactly like it did before, but now I don't have to line all those pieces up. And then if I pull these over, let me move those up to the front. Now, if I pull these over, you see that they line up again perfectly fine. Now this part right here is what we're going to slice out of the mane. So I want to move the mane back a couple of layers, which I can do by just dragging it under that section on my layers panel over here. But I also just want to make sure that it's lined up really nice with everything. So I'm just going to kind of get it lined up where I want it. I'm going to drag it back under that. And what I want to do is I'm going to select the mane and that black headpiece. And I'm going to use the slice option again. Now you can see how much work this is. This is a ton of steps that we shouldn't have to do to make sure that this is going to layer well for our design. So now that I've sliced all that out, I can take this portion and you'll see that it's gonna fit really nicely. Let me move this back up to the top because this is like the ears and the cheeks, and look at how good this is looking. Now we have one more step to do. I need to take all the tan pieces and I need to weld those together as well so that everything is held in place when we go to make it. Now it's gonna look like our cheeks disappeared. They didn't, they just went back under. Now, if I move everything off, you'll see we have the solid black layer and all of that. But now remember I said I did want to add those white eye pieces back in. So I'm just going to grab a teeny tiny little circle. So I'm just going to get me a circle and I'm going to size it down a little bit and move it over. And I think I'll zoom in quite a bit just so we can see a little bit better what we're doing. And I'm going to just kind of size this to how big I want it. I didn't want to do that. I just want to move it. Now, sometimes if you make it too small, you can no longer move it. And it's super frustrating with Design Space and the way that they have this. Like you see how no matter what I do, it's really hard to reach for and move. It's just how it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to select that little circle. I'm going to make it white so I can get a good visual. And I think that's a really good size. So what I want to do is I'm going to copy it and paste it. And with these ones, I'm not going to try to line them up and like weld them. I'm just going to cut them as little circles. So now our lion is ready to go, but you can see how much work that was versus just making a quick little design in with the DTF or with the DTF. Now you can see how hard that was. That was a lot of steps. With the DTF, I just uploaded the image and sized it. But we need to size this guy as well. So remember, we did him about 4 inches. So we'll do this guy at 4 inches as well. Now he's not lined up real well right now, but that doesn't matter because we are eventually going to cut him out of the different pieces and line him up on the onesie. I'm going to go ahead and flip him because we're going to cut him in HTV. Now, for some reason, it looks a little funny when they flip. It does happen. I just always double check that everything looks good, everything looks flipped. And then I'm going to save this and I'm going to save it as Lion Onesie HTV. That way I kind of know what it's for. And I always recommend saving before you hit make it. Now, from our make it screen, you're going to see that it's going to bring up all the colors of the HTV on the different mats. So now we're going to need to cut out each of these HTV pieces from the HTV that we ordered. And then we will need to press each layer to our lion. So let's go ahead and get ready to cut all this out and press it and then take a look at what they look like. I wanted to first show you the DTF prints before I cut them. Now I ordered 2. I always order a second one just to be safe, just in case something happens. So the first thing that you'll want to do when you receive these is to trim them down. I prefer to trim them before I do anything else. That way I don't forget. That way I can store them easier. So you want to make sure that you're cutting off all of like this edge here that has your order information. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut off this extra here at the bottom. And then I'm just going to cut these 2 in half so that I have 1 of each. Like I said, I only ordered 2 just to be safe. That way if I mess one up, I'm good. I've got an extra. But what we'll do from here is I'm going to show you the onesies. So I got 2 of the same ones. They're both 9-month to 12-month little onesies from 143. And you can see here, we'll go ahead and flatten that out a little. Now I am going to pre-press this to remove any moisture first, but I just want to show you kind of what this is going to look like on the little onesie. Look how cute. It's going to be adorable. Now what's great about these, they are a 1 press. You press them pretty quickly. You don't have to layer. It's going to take about 40 seconds total. You're going to press it 1 time at 320 degrees for 20 seconds, and then a second time after you remove the clear frosted sheet here, and then you'll press it again at 320 for 20 seconds. So I'm going to pre-press these. I've got 2 of them, 1 for our HTV and 1 for our UV DTF. We're ready to cut all our HTV, which is StarCraft HD. I've got it laid out in color order. So all I'm going to do is load it on to our mat. And that was real terrible. I did not load that straight at all. Let's try again. This one seems like it was cut a little funny. So I'm going to go ahead and load this. There we go, that's better. This one doesn't need a lot of vinyl. This is for the white of the eyes. You wanna make sure that you're loading your HTV carrier sheet side down. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this cut out, time it, time how long it takes me to weed it, and then we're gonna layer this first because this layers at a lower temperature. Now that we have all of our pieces weeded, we can lay it out on our onesie. And I always just lay it out just to make sure that I have all my pieces, I know how it's gonna layer, and that it fits, though I'm sure this one will. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I think I kind of wanna do the orange layer next after I do the black layer. I just think that might work a little bit better for me. And then I'm gonna probably do tan after that. Then I have to do the pink because those are like the insides of his ears and his cheeks. And then I'll add the white dots probably at the same time that I do the pink because these I just cut together and I'll just put those in as we go. Now I want to show you before I press them. Here's one other reason that I really like DTF prints a little bit better. I'm able to pick whatever color I want. You're limited to whatever colors you can find with vinyl for this, but with the DTF, you can use any color of the rainbow that you want. Now I'm gonna go get my heat press ready to press this. StarCraft Soft Flex presses at 285 degrees for about 7 to 10 seconds. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my heat press ready and we'll press this first and then we'll do our DTF and then I'll show you what they look like and kind of the difference. So like I said, the first thing we're going to do is press out any moisture that's in this. Now I'm going to press this first without the little towel inside of it, but then we're going to put a little towel inside and that's going to help with lifting the design up over any of the seams. Baby onesies always have some really, really big seams. I forgot to change the pressure on this, so I will change my pressure here in just a second, but I want to get that moisture pressed out. And then I'm going to change the pressure by just turning my knob down a little bit here. And then I'm going to just check my pressure really quick before I press. This is pressed with a medium pressure, so you shouldn't have to be like really pushing down. Like that's a pretty decent pressure right there. So that looks good. Now what I want to do is I take a towel, and you can use any towel you have, whatever you've got will work, and I just fold, this is just an old hand towel that I use, and I fold it in half, and then I usually will go in through the bottom, but you can go in through the neck as well, because the neck has these little folds on it that make it pretty easy to go through, but you pick whichever way works best for you. And then I just get my towel inside of my onesie, and I just shake it a little bit just to get it in there. Get everything good and set. And that towel is like the perfect little size. And then all I want to do is I just kind of smooth it out and make sure there aren't any like big wrinkles in it. And you can always press this again real quick if you want to, just to kind of make sure, because you've got like a lump right here, which I don't want. And I'm sure it's just the towel inside. So I just need to find which layer has that little wrinkle in it. Oh, I found it. It was the bottom layer. And just smooth it out. And you want to make it a really smooth pressing surface. And so then I will usually just press it one more time just to make sure. Now, here's another good thing to keep in mind. I added that towel, so now my pressure is again too high. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce my pressure again and test it. Now, I've been doing a bunch of stuff on this, so that's why my pressure is a little bit funky, but that'll work. That's fine. So let me go get our vinyl and we can press. Now we're going to start with our black layer, so I'm just going to peel that back away from all the other layers. And we're just going to start with that one. Now what we do with a onesie, the design is going to sit a little bit lower than it would on like a traditional t-shirt because the onesies fit babies real high up. So I want to kind of put it a little closer to the lower chest area. That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and press this. Now when layering, we're only going to press this for maybe 3-4 seconds and then go ahead and lift and then you can go ahead and peel this. This is a warm peel product. Now, one thing that I will note is you want to allow this to cool a little bit between your presses, or you may end up with some bubbling between your layers, which you definitely do not want. So I always allow it to cool for just a couple minutes, or not really minutes, I would say seconds. And that way you have, you know, a little bit less chance of getting that bubbling. So I will let it cool until I can like hold my hand on it and not like want to take my hand up. So you just let it cool. Now we're going to get the little mane lined up. I think I want to go a little higher. Just get that lined up. Now again, we're only going to press this layer for just a few seconds. You don't want to overpress because it can cause shrinkage and then your other layers won't fit. So that's why we press for just a couple of seconds. When we do our very last layer, we'll give it the full press. So now with this layer, this is our little tan. Again, now I'm going to go ahead and take this one, lay it down because it's not sitting on top of the orange. So I can lay that down, but I think I'm going to move it up a little bit. Just want to try to get it good and even. That looks pretty good to me. Go ahead and press that for a couple of seconds. And I want to do this in real time with you guys so you can see how long this takes versus how long it's going to take with our other. Now I am getting some bubbling in this, but when I press that final press, I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on it to help avoid any of the issues with that. So because I cut these little white dots out separately, I'm going to press these at the same time that I'm going to press our pink layer since they won't be overlapping anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and put these little dots on where I want them. That looks pretty good. And then I need to line up the ears and the cheeks. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Now this is going to be a full press, and I'm going to add just a touch more pressure. And then I'm going to go ahead and press this for that full 10 seconds. That's going to give it a really good final press and allow it to really adhere all the layers properly. Once that press is done, you can go ahead and lift up and you can remove your pieces. Now I do have a little bit of a texturing, and I think it's from the towel because the towel is really textured. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow this to cool. And we'll see if that texturing goes away. If it doesn't, I'll just repress it really quick and see if I can get the texturing out of it. But I think it came out pretty cute. So let's go ahead and we're going to turn our press up to do our DTF. While the press is heating up, we can press out the moisture. I did say 320 earlier, it's 329, I had the wrong temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and press the moisture out of my onesie real quick. That way we can go ahead and get the towel in, check our pressure, all of that while it's heating up. So that's just something that you can do kind of while it's heating. Now this one did have a little bit of moisture in it, so it's a good thing that we pressed that. Again, I'm going to open the bottom, take my folded towel and put it in through the bottom. Now if you're using a smaller onesie, you may need to use a smaller towel, so just find kind of what works for you. You can also always just cut towels down, stuff like that. Or there are pressing pillows made. If you're somebody who makes a lot of these, I would recommend getting the smaller pressing pillow. So again, I'm just sort of kind of getting it set in there. And then I've got a little bit of a ridge in the middle, so I'm just going to kind of stretch her out, make sure we don't have a ridge in the middle, because we don't want that. And then I'm okay with the little bit of twisting here. I'm just going to kind of untwist a little bit. I want to just make sure we've got a good area to press. Looks good. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a press just to check my pressure, because you do want to use a fairly firm pressure with this. That looks pretty good, so I think I'm good. I just want to make sure my towel is good and down. Now I'm going to let that finish heating, and then we can put our DTF on. So now what we want to do is position our DTF where we want to put it on to our shirt or our onesie in this case. And then we're going to go ahead and press this for the full 20 seconds. Then when it's done, what we need to do is to allow this to fully cool. Then we can peel that little frosted carrier sheet, and then we want to press it for an additional 20 seconds at 329 degrees. That way everything is well adhered. It's going to hold on to your onesie. It's going to last, all those things. So we just got a couple more seconds. Again, I'm doing this in real time because I want you guys to see how long this takes. So now we've got this little adorable design. Now it is, again, pretty warm. So what I do is I've got like microfiber cloths. I've got other shirts, but you can kind of use that to leach out some of the heat from your design to allow it to cool a little bit faster, but you do want it to be completely cool before you peel it off. This is probably the part that takes, I would say, the longest when it comes to doing these DTF, is just waiting for them to cool. You can always take it off the press and it'll cool faster, but because I want to do this the way I normally would, I'm gonna allow it to cool on the press. And when it says completely cool, this is still pretty warm, so you want to just allow it to cool. You can always take it off, like I said. You can take it off the press and allow it to cool, offside the press. And I will say with onesies, it's a little bit easier because of the towel inside of them. It holds everything pretty well. And then I sometimes will use like the bottom of the design, and I just do that. And again, that leaches some of that heat out because the towel does hold some of the heat as well. So you just kind of try to get any heat out. You can also use things like marbles, like piece of old marble, not the round marbles, but like marble blocks. And that can help. Stainless steel gets the heat out really quickly if you want to cool them down a little faster. But that's pretty cool, so I think we should be good to peel it. So I'm going to peel this off. Now what we do is we press this for an additional 20 seconds with that firm pressure and no carrier sheet on it. And that's going to allow that to really get set in there, really get the way it needs to be. Now also keep in mind with DTF, a heat press is recommended. Not an easy press, not a home iron, but a true heat press like this, or a clamshell, something like that. Even the Cricut auto press you could use. But they do recommend using a true heat press. This is all finished, super cute. Now I'm going to allow this to cool, and then I want to show you what the two look like side by side. I've got our final totals. So for HTV, it took a total of 20 minutes and 47 seconds with a cost of $19.89. For the DTF, it was a total of 5 minutes and 47 seconds with a total cost of $6.89, of course, not including tax. I will say the one thing I really love about DTF is how smooth it appears. It's super quick and super easy and really inexpensive compared to HTV. Now, if you already have the HTV on hand, of course, that's going to change your cost. But the other thing I really love about DTF is that you don't need to go searching for matching colors. You can see that our lion with our HTV has a much oranger mane than I would have preferred, but I didn't like any of the brown options that I had, so I had to choose what I had on hand available to me. So with DTF, you're able to choose any color of the entire rainbow, and you don't have to worry about trying to color match. You also don't have to worry about any of the layering and any of the pitfalls with that as well. DTF is super long lasting, as is HTV, but I just think for a project like this, DTF's a great way to go. Now, of course, you can't go wrong with either product, and be sure that if you want to order anything from 143 Vinyl, that you are using code Corinne to save yourself 5%. If you have any questions about this process or anything else that we do on this channel, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure that you're subscribed here, that way you don't miss out on any of our fun, crafty content we have coming. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.